Hey YouTube, it's me Dylan, and today we're going to go over the beginning of Spartan race. So if this is your first one that you want to do, I would say for the most people they'll do a stadium or stadion, weird to say, or a sprint. So a stadion is pretty much at a football or baseball stadium. I did mine in Anaheim, California at Angel Stadium, and then I did my sprint in New Jersey, Vernon. So I'll say the sprint, that's more outdoorsy, you'll get muddy, you'll get wet, the weird stuff in the woods, and I don't know, the uncomfortableness, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to get muddy and stuff. But the Stadion, you won't get muddy and wet. That one's you're just inside a whatever stadium, baseball, football, going up and down stairs. This kind of event is more of like your CrossFit. So I seem to enjoy it, being my first one, first Spartan race I've ever done. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, so it was a good learning experience. And every stadion and sprint are going to be the same, like distance and obstacles. So each one, about 3 miles, which is 5K. And then you have the obstacles, you'll be doing about like 20-ish. They're never like exactly 20, so you might have 21 or 22 or whatever. The sprint, a lot of people think that you actually have to run super fast because of the title. That's not the case. It's called a sprint because it's the shortest one they do. So you have the sprint, the super, the beast, and the ultra. I'll go over the other races in different videos, but the sprint, you don't have to run, and the same thing as Stadion and all the other races, except ultra, but we'll go on to that story later. For the sprint, and it being your first one, you're more than welcome to walk. Take your time, take your own pace. If you need to sit down, rest, take a breather. That's the same thing as Stadion. You can take your time, you can walk it. Camelback, if you think you're going to walk it, just so you have like fuel, like food, and you also have like hydration so you don't pass out or anything. Because with the shorter races, they don't have many like hydration tables or checkpoints. So if you think you're going to take a while, bring a camelback with you. And also, if it's your first one, bring a camera. You can take photos and whatnot for memories. Also, make sure that you're wearing like a good pair of running shoes and a good pair of socks. You don't want to have a bad experience with your first race. When signing up, you'll see different time slots. So like ones that are very early. Those would be for like elite and age group people. So you get a red headband. So these races, you can't get help from other people. They begin earlier. They also go for like podium, like 1, 2, and 3 place. You get a little medal depending on your age group and all that. And elite, I think like they actually go for money. When you do open races, these begin at a like later time. So by the time you begin these, all those other earlier races should be finished, because those are people are going like super crazy fast and whatnot, compared to people in open probably doing their first race ever, walking, maybe taking their time, learning how to do an obstacle, and so on. So the age group and the elites, they get a red headband, so they can't get help from other people, and it helps like identify what kind of race they're doing. Compared to the open wave, you can get help from people. So it'll be like, hey, I don't really know how to do this obstacle, can you help me, so on and so forth. And also you get a black headband. Let's say you don't need to wear the headband for like the open race on your head, because I feel more comfortable with it like around my neck. And nowadays, if you want to get your photo, you can just do a selfie and it'll do like facial recognition or whatever, so it's easy to find a picture. Back, I would say, when I did like 2019 and so on, you actually had to show like your bib numbers, type in the number to find it easy, but now it's way easier with the facial recognition. Let's see, I went over the speed of the sprint, walking it, go by the name, making sure you had shoes. You can also find discounts usually if this is like your first one and you're like, that's kind of pricey. Do I really want to pay for it? You probably Black Friday deals, or you follow their like Instagram. I could put the link in the description below for like Spartan races. Usually they have sales, and a lot of people that are like ambassadors, they'll be like, oh, I got a sale going on, here's a code. So you can usually find a good way to get a discount so you're not paying as much if the price is kind of pushing you away from trying to race. I'd say that's probably it for the most part. You get a shirt and a medal at the end of each race, so that's, your main goal. Like, oh, I finished, I get a shirt, so keep you a bit motivated. Went over the times. You have until 9 p.m. unless the race is different, but at least the races I've gone to, there's no checkpoint. Just the goal is to finish by 9 p.m. And the latest time I think you can enter, depending on the venue, it'll be like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Well, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. kind of thing. So you got plenty of time to finish the race. I'd say that's pretty much it. Just exercises, very, very minimum. Just get used to walking, running, and maybe a grip and pull-up strength. That's pretty much it. But if you fail an obstacle, so that's one thing I forgot to add. If you fail an obstacle, you have to do, I guess every race they changed it. Now it's 30 burpees. I think I did run, might have been the Stadion. They only said 15 burpees. But yeah, nowadays is you fail an obstacle, you need to do 30 burpees, and then you continue running or walking the race till you get to your next obstacle. So that's that. If you want to help like a friend or family member with burpees, at least with the open race, they aren't as strict. So like, say your friend failed an obstacle, but you didn't, you can do, let's say, whatever burpees, and then your buddy, a friend or family can do whatever burpees. So situation, my one buddy, he couldn't do like, what would you say? Just say an obstacle. I don't remember the name of it, but I did 15 and he did 15, so we split it up. And it was 30, and then we just went to the next obstacle. Stadions, at least when I did it, you didn't have like a penalty loop. If you failed an obstacle, you kind of had to do the burpees. But if you do a sprint, you might see a penalty loop, so you're just walking more depending on the obstacle instead of doing burpees. But they'll have a map saying like in yellow circle that'll identify like a penalty loop. That might be like maybe a quarter of a mile or something. It's not super long. Let's see, what else can I add? I'm trying to do this without like notes in front of me. But I want to say that's it. But yeah, usually the sprints or stadions, you can do this usually without training too. Like, yeah, it'll be challenging, but you can do it without training. My dad and his girlfriend and I did the Jacksonville one in Florida. It was a flat course, so that's really good to begin with for any beginner. And I mean, they didn't really train for it, but they were able to finish it. I think all three of us, because we walked it together, it might have been 2 or 3.5 hours, something like that. So it's very doable, and just take your time and walk it. Let's see. That's pretty much it. I was able to help them like on obstacles and whatnot, and show them like how to maybe make it easier. Just push them up a wall so they can go over walls. So definitely do the open race if you feel like you need help. You can always get help from other people during the race if they want to, like, volunteer and help you. You can get help from like volunteers that are like watching people, but you can get help from like other racers doing the race that you're doing. I want to say that's pretty much it. Yeah. If you have comments or questions, leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram. Maybe probably better communication on Instagram for sure. I gotta leave a link for my Instagram and the Spartan race Instagram link in the description below. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna just conclude it there because I don't think there's anything else to add. So Dylan, signing out, and see you guys next time, and hopefully this info helped you out so you're ready for your first Spartan race.